so honored to have so many folks here, and I'm just going to hand it off. I'm Ashley with Omar's campaign. I'm just going to hand it off to the Phillips, who are going to start our program. Thank you.
So those of you that don't know me and don't know Mark Kelly, I'm not Mark Kelly. So for those that do not know my wife, Sandy, and I, for the last 7 years, we've been traveling around the country in a company trailer. We've been to 15 public mass shootings since our daughter was killed, along with Tom's son and 10 other people in Aurora CO. Massacre. That's what we say. We try to make it very clear what happened. It's not just somebody gets shot, somebody gets hit with a 323. They're devastated. And we learned those things all on our own by ourselves without anybody helping us. And we thought it happened to us without any help that we should go around and see if we could help other survivors. So that's what we've been doing. Our first one was Newtown. We saw those people come in at the Resilient Center in Newtown. They all looked like zombies. And to this day, some of them don't even remember meeting this trauma. That's what Sadie and I have been trying to get the people that we talk to make sure they get trauma therapy, and that's something that we've been working on for those 7 years. So we had a chance because of Tom and Sullivan. We had a chance to meet with Kaufman. Remember that, Tom, in D.C.? So you remember how awful that meeting was, right?
Not very productive.
We let Tom do most of the talking because we could hardly get a word in edgewise. Every time we would speak, he would talk over us. Tom was very respectful, and so were we. It was early on, and we didn't know how to be disrespectful to senators, and because we didn't know who they really were. But I have no respect for Kaufman. From that day on, and from what he's done, he's just ran away. You know, he's a coward. I can't think of any more clear words to talk about Kaufman. When we showed up, he showed up late. He was very condescending. Am I telling the truth? So we know one thing for sure. Kaufman is not good enough for a dog catcher in Aurora, let alone the mayor. He cares little for the people he represents, but he does care about the money. We know that for a fact. So Sandy and I, we started a Survivors Empowered Action Fund, which is our political line. And Tom knows about the billboards. We took it off the 3 billboards in Ebbing, Missouri concept and put up a big red billboard with Kaufman's name and the amount of money that he took from the IRA. You were there, right, when we did that? Well, we're very proud of that. We don't know if it had any part in not getting any real elected. We got to take the credit. So, Omar. We were at a function at Andrew Lomanoff's little coffee meet and drink thing, and I was listening intently to what Andrew was saying, and the door opens up and I turn around and the guy walks in and took up all the room. So I can't remember what Andrew was talking about. That's the first time I laid eyes on Omar, and I noticed that he was a little taller than me. But when I heard him start to speak, I knew that he was going to give Kaufman's bananas powerhouse. Just from hearing that one time, I went on your website. I know everything you put out there is right on the money, and I know you've done a lot of research. And I'm just thinking, how am I going to Kaufman for people? You're going to be our next mayor.
Yes.
we have learned that survivors have a pretty rough hope. We got hit with a bunch of stuff we weren't used to, and we didn't know was going to happen. We learned the hard way, and we started teaching, and we learned from teaching. So the survivors that we talk to, we get back from them, and it's made us stronger. So I know we have just kind of partnered up with Giffords in the last year or so, and we started. Giffords is an organization that is on the cutting edge of grassroots survivor building. I don't know another way to put it, but we met here in Aurora about a year ago, and we met with some of the movers and shakers in this area. And since then, Giffords, with Giffords' help, we have put together a nice group of performers that I think is going to really make a difference here in Colorado. Colorado is where our daughter was killed, but Colorado is where Sandy and I feel like has done the most to help to stop what happened. We're very, very proud of Colorado and what they have accomplished, with the laws they've got in place and what they've done, and all the people of Colorado. That's why on our travels we always make sure that we spend at least 3 months or so in Colorado and rejuvenate and reconnect with our energy, which we get a lot of it from right here. But Giffords to us is an inspiration to all of them there. Gabby, I say this with all my heart, you are astounding. You have endured with a previous wound, a head wound, which is awful, and an awful thing to overcome, because I know I've seen other people with them, and our daughter was killed by them. Very seldom survived, but not only has she survived and persevered, she's done it with grace and dignity and love, and she is my hero.
Well, the one thing my husband didn't say is that not only are we here in Colorado because Colorado means so much to us, and meeting up again with both the survivor base, the gun owner base, the legislative base that we've come to know too well in some instances. It rejuvenates us. But we're here today to endorse Omar.
All right.
And, I am so honored to have been asked to introduce Gabby. Congresswoman Gabby Giffords has become known around the world because of her story and because of her strength. A story of hope, resilience in the wake of tragedy. After serving in the Arizona legislature in Congress on January 8, 2011, Gabby was shot in the head while meeting with constituents in her hometown of Tucson, Arizona. The shooter killed 6 people and injured 13 others. One of those was a young girl who would have turned 18 this last week. After months of intensive care, Gabby embarked on a courageous rehabilitation journey. And in January of 2013, just weeks after the tragedy of Sandy Hook, and 5 months after the tragedy here in Aurora, they created their Giffords, along with Captain Mark Kelly, of course. We can't leave him out. After they founded the organization, they changed their name to Giffords Courage to Fight Gun Violence. And it's with the courage that Gabby has used in every step of her rehabilitation that she brings forward into this movement. They quickly became leaders of the movement to strengthen our nation's gun laws. So now, please join me in welcoming someone who is using her second chance at service to make our communities safer from gun violence. Former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords.
These are scary times. Racism, sexism, lies, violence. It's time to stand up for what's right. It's time for courage. We must do something. We must stop gun violence. Do you have the courage to fight? Stand with me. Vote, vote, vote.
Yes.
On election day, your voice matters.
Right.
Please join your voice with mine. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Arapahoe County. We have come a mighty long way. When I look over my shoulder and I look at the progress and the movement that we have made to address gun violence, we have come a mighty long way. But I have to give tribute to this community. When we stood together right after the Aurora Theater shooting, we came together. We came together because we wanted to see change. And we collaborated and we partnered together and we pushed forward legislation in 2013 that is the model across the nation. Before the Aurora Theater shooting, we had a tragedy that happened in Arizona. I can't tell you the utmost respect that I have for you. Because it's real easy to stand on the sidelines and just watch things unfold when a tragedy happens. But when you use your life to create change, not only for your community, for the nation, then that takes a different level of courage. It takes a different level of attitude and temperament to do something for the common good. Gabby Gifford is my shero. My son was murdered. He did not survive the murder. But what I understand with talking to coroners and other folks who've testified down at the Capitol, when a bullet hits your body and the kind of devastation that takes place, a lot of people don't recover from it. But this woman here, not only did she recover from it, she's still recovering, but she's using her voice and her position just as a person, a former congressperson, to help change the trend that we're seeing as it relates to gun violence. Thank you so very much. It can't be easy. I feel sickness in my body almost every day, but I still get up and do my work. But I haven't experienced the trauma that you've had to endure just based on your own recovery. I'm just so proud that you just keep on ticking. I'm going to talk to the governor of the state of Colorado and see if we can make you a permanent resident. And Colorado and Aurora needs to be your hometown. We love you. We appreciate you. And just, you you just mean so much to me. I remember in 2019, it was your husband. I didn't see you traveling with him at that time, but it was your husband, the captain, who came down to the Capitol, and he talked to the president, and the Senate president, and he talked to the Speaker of the House. And he was probably having other conversations that I wasn't privy to behind closed doors. But your voice has influence. And so never suffer in silence. And to my friends, the Sullivan and the Phillips, thank you so much for your advocacy. Both of you guys are strong couples.
Yes, we are.
I'm telling you right now, don't mess with them. Don't mess with them. We are all part of a unique club because we've experienced the impact of gun violence. Don't mess with us.
Amen.
Because we have a Papa Bear, we have Mama Bears, we have Congress folks, and don't mess with us. Because we understand the impact and trauma that's caused by gun violence. So I join with my colleagues and my friends here to endorse Omar Montgomery. My relationship with Omar goes back a long, long way. I've known Omar for over 20 years. The way we met, we were both in a graduate program. We were working towards our PhD at CU Denver. So during that time, if you're in a PhD program, there's a lot of studying, there's a lot of exploring, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of debate. So what I know about Omar is that, there's only like 3 types of people. Those who ask, those who watch what's happening, those who wonder what happened or what just happened, and those who make things happen. When we were in our PhD program, Omar was exploratory. He asked all the right questions, but then he explored solutions to be tied to some of the social injustice that we were trying to address. The program that we were involved in was an educational leadership program. I left the program because my son was murdered, and I no longer wanted to just open a book and study. I wanted to roll up my sleeves, and I wanted to get to work. So I left the program. But even though I left the program, I still saw Omar in our community. In every corner of our community, he was working to address inequities all across our community. It could be school, it could be criminal justice, it could be dealing with someone whose child was incarcerated, it could be a housing issue. But he wasn't afraid to address the challenges that confront our community. And that's what we need in a mayor. We need someone that's not going to shrink, that's not going to back down, that's going to tackle tough issues. That could be with the business community, whoever. But he's going to ask the right questions. He's going to be financially prudent in reference to how we manage our city funds. And he's going to represent our community well. He is a man of integrity. Over the 20 years that I've known him, there's no scandals. So there won't be no surprises. What I know about Omar from his time being raised in Los Angeles, California, you can always determine a character of a man or a woman by the way they treat others. And he's a gentleman. If you ever watched him encounter his soulmate, he is very polite, he's very kind, he's very generous. We don't see that kind of stuff in politics these days. We need to bring that temperament back to the city of Aurora. The city of Aurora is a great community. And what I admire most about our former mayor who has passed on, Mayor Hogan, I see similar traits because he embraces diversity. We have a community that's just not white, that's just not black, it's just not African American. We have a lot of refugees. We're known as a sister city, which means that we embrace all diversity because we know that our diversity is our strength. He will continue that legacy. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to the next mayor of the city of Aurora.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here. When you talk about being a hero and talking about the model of resilience and showing that we're not going to let hate destroy us. You're that model. And I just want to say thank you for making time to come to this beautiful city of Aurora and to support our candidacy and what we're trying to do to make this the best city in the state of Colorado.
All right.
Mr. Phillips, I'm gonna share a story. So, 1992, I'm a college kid doing college stuff. Won't dive into everything. But April, and what made me decide to share this story was actually Mom's, because you fill out one of these forms and it asks, are you a survivor? And I never thought of myself that way. So 1992, April 1992, Woodley Park, Van Nuys, California. I'm there doing what college people do. We're having a college barbecue. And I'm there hanging out with my friends. We're having a good time. And we began to see some people who wasn't a part of the group drive up. And I'm there with my cousin, and we're standing there, and we're having a good time. My cousin looked at me and said, you know, it may be time to go. I said, well, you know, I'm still engaging college stuff. So I'm not ready to leave yet. So first we heard what we thought was a bottle. And then everybody stopped. And then I looked and saw a gentleman that was shooting in the air. All I saw was his hand. And next thing I know, he drops the gun in the crowd, kills 2, wounds 4.
You're a survivor.
Kills 2, wounds 4. And I never thought of myself as a survivor. I would guarantee you that many of the people there probably don't look at themselves as survivors because where we grew up, gun violence was commonplace. I used to fake like I would tie my shoes if I see a car with its lights off. Why? I need those seconds to run just in case it's a drive-by. That's how I grew up. When people began to talk about in schools, which I think is a tragedy, where kids are doing active shooting training. We were doing that when I was a kid. Not that long ago, a 14-year-old was murdered right outside of Aurora. He was a Hinckley student. He would have been a sophomore this year. You'll never know what it's like to have a driver's license, go to a prom, and you know, his parents, his mother won't be able to hug him and say, hey, you graduated from high school. What are your next steps? Would have been a student, sophomore at Hinckley High School. As mayor, I don't want another family to go through a tragedy like that. I want to make sure that our kids can go to school safe and come home safe. Anything we can do to reduce gun violence. And people say, well, are you getting in this gun violence debate? No, I'm getting to protecting our kids debate. Yeah. I'm getting into protecting our communities debate. I'm getting into the debate of making sure that the world is a safe city. Working with our first responders. Making sure those who've been through these tragedies have the resources they need to get through the trauma. Those things are important. I want to work with our state legislators. I want to work with our federal government. And whatever we need to do to make sure our communities is safe, let's let Aurora be the model for it. Let's let the number of active shooting trainees in our school and begin to increase more playtime, increase more homework time, increase more time for them to be kids and not feel like they're going to be victims the rest of their life or traumatized the rest of their life. So for me, as mayor, this is more than just political talking points. This is a mission. See, the city of Aurora is full of beautiful people. Look at this room. Look at the diversity. This is Aurora. This is what makes us great. Some of us are from different countries. Some of us are from different area codes. Some of you from different states. But you came to Aurora because you heard something great. I believe you heard something great about this city. We're all bridge builders. And what does that mean as I begin to close? Meaning that if you see someone who look like they're going through some hard times, look like they're going through some difficult times, be a bridge builder and give them a hug and let them know you love them. Help them find the resources that they need to get through that moment. Let's make it easier for people to turn in their guns and not be judged if they're going through a mental health crisis. Let's make sure we get the illegal guns off the street. What are 13 and 14-year-olds doing with guns and where they're getting them from, and whoever's selling them to them, let's make sure we hold them to the full extent of the law. Working with our DAs. Working with our DAs. Working with our police department. Working with our fire department. More importantly, it's going to take you. It's going to take all of us coming together to make sure we reduce gun violence in our city. It's going to take all of us making sure that when our kids get out of school between the times of 4 and 10 p.m. when crime go up, that we have a safe place for them to go. Let's work with our school districts. Call them community schools. Brian talks about that all the time, who's running for city council. Make it a safe place where they can go get health care. A safe place where they can go and do their homework. A safe place to go where they can learn an apprenticeship program. A safe place to go where the parents can go and get services. A safe place to go where we can have child care, where parents are working 2 and 3 jobs in order to pay this crazy rent that we have in Aurora. Let's make sure if they're safe, the parents are safe, I guarantee you we can do a lot and have a tremendous impact in our city. That's the reason why. Once again, I got to say thank you. And to my good friend, State Senator Rhonda Fish, who I've known a long time. And when your son was murdered, I was coming back from Ghana. And I was laying in the bed getting called. You know when you come back from another country, you've been isolated, you catching up on everything. And one of the first stories I heard was about your son. And then I saw you on TV and I'm like, that's my friend. And just wanted to be there for you. Just wanted to give you a hug and let you know I love you. And to my beautiful better half. See, this mission is not just about me. It's about family. It's about making sure our families can live in Aurora and be safe. Kids can go to the park and play and not have to worry about gunshots or finding bullets. Where they're able to have, think about it, just playing in the sandbox. Now you gotta tell kids if you see a stranger, if you see someone with a bulky jacket and things of this nature, you gotta duck. All I did was play in the sandbox and hope that the other kids liked me. Life was simple. I want Aurora to go back to those times. And with your help, we can make Aurora a model for the nation in reducing gun violence. We can make Aurora a model in the nation safe for our kids in and out of school. And more importantly, we can make this the best city in the state of Colorado. I'm Omar Montgomery, candidate for mayor for the city of Aurora. Thank you all for And as we begin to close, there are some other candidates in the room, can you please raise your hand? If you're a candidate, please get to know some of these candidates. Election is November 5th, 2019. It is so imperative that you get out and vote. And if you believe in our candidates, we need you to phone bank. We need you to canvass. We need people power. And we need you to get us over the finish line if you believe in this vision. That's why we're here. So Ashley Wheeler is my campaign manager. She's Central Command. Central Command. If you want to help us get to the finish line and make Aurora, you're going to hear it like a broken record, to make Aurora the best city in the state of Colorado and the model for the nation. Join us now. Walk with us. Canvass with us. Phone bank with us. We're going to be the hardest working people for the city of Aurora. Thank you for your time. And thank you for being here. Thank you all for coming. Please come meet our guests. And she came all the way here to support us. And she'll be the keynote speaker at the Arapahoe Dems dinner tonight. So if you're, I think there's still tickets available. Please come out and support. But once again, just thank you. And thank you for coming. Oh, the tickets are, so it's a sold out event. I'm sure somebody gonna Facebook it live that we're in that. Thank you for coming.